Hi, Gary Chillingworth here for Air Gunner Magazine, Shooting and Country TV. Welcome to Life at the Range. Well, we're going to have some fun today with a TX200 Hunter Carbine. Now, it's slightly different to the video we were going to put out. No change there. If you follow us on Facebook, I put out a question. Can I still hack it with a PCP? And that was the plan, to go and shoot a national and do all the lovely things that we want to do. But do you remember the last video we put out on our instructions towards HFT? I'll put it here. Have a wonderful time. The sun is out, COVID is behind us, we're all shooting again. Life is good. Take care of yourself. After we put that out, guess who got COVID? Yeah, not too bad. I've been quite ill for the last couple of days, but I've had all my jabs and everything is good. I did actually turn up to the Nationals with my PCP. Didn't have COVID at the time. I did a video a while back where we were talking about how important it is to prepare. Guess who didn't prepare properly? I have an HFT 500, amazing gun, shoots really well. It lives in a rack, fairly close to a radiator, and hasn't been shot for a year. And I dried out the barrel seal. So 3 or 4 shots in, everything was going well. I missed my first shot because I gave wind where there was no wind. Killed the next 4, and then something went funky, and yeah, basically I destroyed my barrel seal. PCPs are meant to be shot, not just left in a rack near a radiator, because things will dry out. So I learned an important lesson. It's not like I did a 200-mile drive to shoot 5 pellets before I screwed up. But there you go. These things happen. We all live and learn. And we are going to do the video, can I still hack it as an HFT shooter? I came home, replaced the 4P barrel seal. Thank you, John Mode, who had a spare one. And the gun was perfect. So my own stupid fault. So HC. Now, as you all know, I'm a competitive shooter. My regular gun, which this is, I shoot a TX200 Hunter Carbine. I have the aftermarket stock from Lucas Parsley, the LP TAC2. Other stocks in the market, Warren Edwards does great, good stuff. Tilly does great stuff. GRS does great stuff. There are plenty of stocks out there. But one of the questions I get asked a lot is, does my super gun, is it that much better than a standard TX? Well, this is absolutely 100% standard, this TX. I've actually just got it back from Air Arms. It's had a new barrel put in. It's had all the internals redone. And this is as it came out the factory. It's got a 25mm piston. It's lubricated with moly. It's in a standard beat stock. I've got a neoprene butt cap on it. This is a standard gun as you would go and purchase it from the shop. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how accurate it is. Standard out the box. We've got a target set out at 25 yards, piece of card, and let's see how we go. Let's see what kind of accuracy we can get at 25 yards and at 40 yards. We've got a bit of wind today, but not massive. So I'm actually really interested, because I'll be honest with you, I've not shot a standard TX for a long time. All my stuff is tuned to within an inch of its life. But I actually think this is going to be a really good gun. So let's get on with it, and then we'll see how accurate it is, and then I will show you the reason why I think you should all buy a TX200 Hunter Carbine. But that's a little bit later in the video. Okay, so we're shooting at 30 yards. We've got a little bit of wind. I think it's coming straight at us. I must admit, I'm feeling like death warmed up. Bog standard TX200 Hunter Carbine, shooting out the crook of the arm, not off the deck. And let's see what sort of accuracy we can get. We'll put first round down as a marker, and then we'll try and get the rest as close as we possibly can. Right, 3 rounds, rapid fire. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, may he rest in peace. Doctor Who reference for those of you who don't know. Well, through the same hole. Maybe fractionally low quarter pellet. I must admit though, I snatched that. Slightly left. That was me, not the gun. I must admit I'm not used to shooting up the peg, but you can't argue with that sort of accuracy. Okay, so that one went fractionally left. A bit high and left. Yeah, not great. Sorry, not bad. Not. We can do better. Right, I'm going to put another hole just right hand side of it. Let's try better. Let's try better. You should learn to speak proper, like what I does. I must admit, Air Arms has done a beautiful job on this rifle. The cocking is lovely. And I must admit, the 25mm piston, it's not as hard to cock as I remember. That might be because I used to have a VMAX spring in it. Ooh, bit high. I think I waited too long to shoot. What we're going to do is let me re-zero, and we're going to come back and we're going to shoot again with it off the deck, but with it zeroed. Actually, at the so I'm putting the crosshairs on the same point every time. If that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so we've had a quick re-zero, and let's see how we go. Okay, we're going to put a marker below all of those. There we go. 3 rounds through that hole. Okay. Same hole. Ragged hole. It's still a spring on. What do you want from me? Mill. Right. Don't suck, don't suck, don't suck, don't suck. TX200 Hunter Carbine, 30 yards, bog standard, no bells, no whistles, just barefoot, bare tooth neoprene pad with a little bit extra height on the back. EVX, Optisan, scope, and we're getting a ragged single hole group at 30 yards. Can't argue with that. So let's push it out to 40 and let's see how we do on the 25 mils. Okay, 40-yard test part 2. Recorded this before, got some brilliant groups, and sound didn't work. But we'll put up some footage, some silent footage. 40 yards, put our first one down, and then see how we go from there. We'll go on the left hand side. And as you can see, we've got some fairly good groups. But now I'm going to show you why you should buy a TX200 Hunter Carbine. We're at a competition and we're on the plinking range and something has gone wrong. Spring has broken, it's basically feeling really graunchy, and so we decided that we're going to take the gun apart. So first of all, we need a 3mm Allen key, stop bolt out. Oh, by the way, so I'm going to be completely open and honest with you. What we're going to do is, even though I'm shooting and showing you how to do this, we're going to put the original groups in of what we did. That's the only honest way to do it, because otherwise, you know, I've shot this gun quite a bit since I did those groups and I've got it all dialed in the way I wanted it. And I don't fake stuff on Life to Range. It's either good, it's bad, whatever it is whatever it is. I don't give you rubbish and like pretend, oh yes, this is the first group I shot, when it was like the 30th group I shot to make me look good. I assume that's not what you want. So there we go, stock off, and now we're going to take the gun apart. So what we need to do is start removing this main bolt here. If you actually want to watch a proper video on me stripping this down, I did make a very good video, a very enjoyable video on how to strip a TX. You need to put a bit of downward pressure. Find something to put downward pressure on. Because don't forget, this is under load. And I'm going to put a video in here of the first time I did it. Yeah, you see that? See the trigger block going flying out the way. Okay, so trigger block is out. Now we're just going to pull the spring and those bits out, which are horrible and gunky. Now we're going to take out this little E-clip at the front. Again, if you want to watch a proper video on how to do this, I'll put a link below. So There you go. And if you're doing this, always put your stuff into a little pot, because I guarantee you will lose it. Okay, so we push the pin out, cocking linkage out, pull that back, cocking shoe is out, and now we have the compression tube and the piston all out. Gun completely stripped down, ready to do whatever you want to do. And this is the beauty with the TX. We're now going to put it back together. Hole in the cocking shoe always goes towards the barrel. Cocking linkage, bear trap in, push that forward, line it up. It goes through. God, for a second then I thought I'd lost a little E-clip. Now, if you are ever going to be one of these people taking your TXs apart, if you're going to lose anything, I guarantee you it will probably be this little E-clip, because you miss and it goes ding and it goes miles away. So that's in, right? So now we'll just slide the old spring back in. Yuck. Trigger block back on. That should have gone in the pot. Push it down, line it up. And this is just using a 3mm Allen key, a 5mm Allen key, and a 3/16 spanner, or an adjustable. So stock back on. We'll put our stock bolts in the front. We won't tighten them up massively to start with. We'll just get that one in, flip it over. Now, if you had an HW97, which is a lovely gun, and I will never ever diss an HW97, every bit as accurate as a TX, the main disadvantage is if you wanted to do what I've just done, apart from the fact it would take you considerably longer, you'd have to take the scope off. If you take the scope off, then obviously you've got to completely, whoever that was, thank you very much. If you've got to take the scope off, you've got to completely re-zero the gun. Now, as you can see, I've had all the guts out of this rifle. I've replaced the spring. Not that I did actually replace it, but I could have replaced the spring. Tighten that up. Now we're just going to tighten up these two stock bolts at the front. Don't put too much torque on them. Flip it over. And there we go. Guns back together. So now what we're going to do is we are going to fake shooting 4 shots and have a little chat, but we'll do the original 4 shots that we filmed earlier. Does that make sense? I think so. Okay. Put one round down range. That's a nice marker. I'm trying to think what they all did. I know roughly what they did. Okay, so well, if I remember correctly, the first one went through pretty much the same hole. Again, second one, if I remember rightly, was fractionally left, but quarter of a pellet. Now the last one. And there we go. So as you can see from the original video, we stripped the gun, put it back together, and the first 4 rounds all went through the same hole. Near as damn it, you know, I think it was, well, you'll see, I'll put some footage up going without any, actually there might be sound. But let's go and have a quick look. Let's go and get some verniers, and we'll have a look and we'll see what kind of group we've got. Go on my knees. Right, okay, so let's put you back onto the prop footage. Right, so here's our first group, which is definitely better. Oh, sorry, hang on. There we go. Here's our first group. And what have we got there? We've got around about 9 millimeters. And here's our second group after we've, here's our second group after we re-lubed and took the gun apart. We haven't actually sort of quite dialed it in better. 12 millimeters. So there you go. Our first group at 40 yards, and I'll be honest with you, the wind did drop, so we had a good day. 9 millimeters, spring gun, 25mm internals, lubed with molly on a fairly warm day. I'll take that group every day. We then took the gun apart, put it back together on the field, not anywhere sterile, just slammed it all back together, and the group's 3 millimeters bigger. That's why I love the TX200 Hunter Carbine. It is a truly brilliant gun. Absolutely love it. Now, I'll be 100% honest with you, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you might be a couple of pellets out because your stock bolts at the front and at the back, if these come loose, you will lose a lot of your accuracy. So if you ever got a TX and it's starting to be a bit funky, always check to make sure all your bolts are nice and tight. This is an amazing gun, and this is why I love the TX200. The fact that you can strip it apart, put it back together, and chances are you're only going to be a click or 2 out. For me as a competition shooter, is a really, really important, there's an idiot who lives just down the road who likes to drive up and down where I live with his child's car, with his dump valve going boom, 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 boom. I know we all did it when we were young, but it's really irritating when you're trying to film. I can still hear him and he's a mile away. But this is why I love the TX, the fact that you can just strip it apart in less than a minute or 2, fix whatever you need to do, put it back, and you don't really need to re-zero. You're only going to be a little bit out. For me, that is a really important thing to do. It's a really great thing about this particular gun, this style of gun. I think the Pro Sport is very, very similar. But that's about it. We'll try and get all this edited together. But again, I do apologise. I don't usually like filming things out of order, but I hope you understand why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, because I didn't want. I'm not going to fake anything. The fact that we screwed up the sound, I'll refilm this bit, but the actual sending lead down range, I'm not going to mess with that. Well, there we have it. An absolutely bog standard, apart from a polished trigger, TX200 Hunter Carbine. Putting in groups of 40 yards smaller than my fingernail. Resting off the deck with no barrel weights, no silencer, no aftermarket stock. Yeah, the neoprene butt pad just gives me a bit of extra height. I was expecting it to be good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. It's strange. I film these things and I try and do everything in real time. That's why when we were initially shooting, I wasn't just throwing out good groups and saying, see what this can do at 25 yards. I know I said 30, it was my mistake. I wanted you to see me gradually dialing the gun in. because that's how we learn, not just by watching me shoot really ragged groups, by watching me adjusting. Do you know what? I wasn't even adjusting my holds, come to think of it. I was just gripping the gun like I normally grip it. This is a surprise for me. When I first started shooting, I listened to what everyone said about, you know, gripping the gun and doing this and doing that. And I stole everybody's knowledge. You know, I stood on the shoulders of giants and I learned from them and I listened. And I think I've also maybe taken in some bad knowledge, like too much molly is bad, too much molly is good, this is bad, this is whatever. So I bought aftermarket stocks, I bought 22mm pistons, I did Krytox, I didn't use molly. And then I've picked up this gun and it's done everything I've wanted to do, because I changed everything from pretty much from day one. And I think the problem was when I first picked up a TX, when I first picked up a spring gun, I didn't know how to shoot it. I was a PCP shooter. So the first thing I did was try to make my TX more like my PCP. So have I got that wrong? I don't know. Maybe I need to treat this gun like the way it should be treated. I'll be honest with you, it is going to go into my aftermarket stock. My TAC2 is great. It gives me better balance. But then again, I might actually go out and just shoot a competition, maybe put an adjustable butt pad on the back to give me a bit of extra height. Maybe I should just try it in a regular stock. I don't know. I think you can all see that I'm slightly befuzzled. I don't think it's the COVID, but that group, after I'd stripped it, that's great. Well, okay, so, right. TX200 under Carbine, go and buy one. If you've got one that's really manky, send it back to Air Arms and get them to have a look at it. Or find a really good airgun tuner, someone like Richard Natcher, DVS. He does great work on TXs. There are lots of people out there. I'm absolutely not knocking the 22mm pistons. I love mine. I get on really, really well with them. I just think maybe I need to spend a bit more time playing with the TX the way it was meant to be. I think that's what I need to do. Maybe hopefully that'll make me a better shooter. I need to do something, because recently I've not been shooting well. We will be doing the video on, can I still hack it with a PCP? Hopefully I'll be COVID free soon. I'm hoping it'll shoot this weekend. If not, it's going to be either next video or video after, we're not sure. We've also got an HW97, which I've borrowed off of Alex Larkin. Thank you, Alex. And we are going to do a smackdown between the two. So thank you so much for watching today. Please like, share and subscribe. Really does help. And let me know what you want me to do in the comments below. Yeah, it's been a great day for me. It's been a really great day for me. I've learned something today, and I've learned that maybe I didn't know as much as I thought I did. And maybe I've poo-pooed stuff that shouldn't have been poo-pooed. Poo-poo. Ta-da.